Welcome back to Krown's Crypto Cave over here in good old Mordor, and I want to be wishing everyone the happiest of happy Tuesday mornings out there in cryptocurrency land. As always, I want to remind everyone that this playlist, that this series in the morning is always about shorter-term analysis, shorter-term time frames. If you're looking for more long-term analysis, go check out the long-term analysis playlist. There you go. All right, so let's get into it over here. Bitcoin breakout. Oh my God, it's a new range. We've moved $50 fucking dollars, or have we? Again, plotting out the big areas right here. We still got 6150 support. And if we make a trend line going from here to here, now keep in mind, I am on Finex right now, and we will be comparing different exchanges. Looks to me like Finex has might have actually broken out. So let's go down to a lower time frame and see if we can confirm this. Yes, the 8-hour does look good. The 8-hour does look good. However, when I do see a major break of a pattern that everyone's looking at, and this is very important, very important. When everyone's looking at the same goddamn thing, everyone's looking at the same fucking triangular type formation. If and when it does get broken, I want to see major fuck you volume coming into the market as it gets resolved to whichever side that it gets resolved to. Right here, right now, you do see volume kind of perk up on this dildo right here. But when you put it into context of the former month and a half, which has been extremely low volume to begin with, and you put that in context of this over here, it's like one of those infographics where it's like you are here on Earth, and it's like this is the sun, this is the next galaxy. It's like, holy shit, man, we are very far away from anything like that. But hey, it is a start. You do have a dildo closing above over here on Finex. Now, if we do try to look at other exchanges, it is not replicated on other exchanges. GDAX over here, no, you have not gotten the break. In fact, just a couple of wicks off this resistance right here. Bitstamp over here, a couple of wicks off the resistance over here. Although you can see that this chart leaves a lot to be desired, as I've not updated it recently. but fair enough. Let's just kind of make sure. Yep. Okay. Good. Body's all good there. Yep. And no close above. What about Bit Mexico? Good old fucking Mexico. By the way, if you're tired of Bit Mexico, definitely go check out Durabit. I've been really enjoying it. You can actually put in orders during any time of any sort of pump. At least in my experience, I haven't run into really any issues just yet. Just liquidity. And I do have affiliates like in the description of this video. But of course, you don't need to use that. I always don't. I don't want to make anyone feel the need to use that. It's just, hey, it's there for you if you want to use it. It takes a percentage off your trading fees, though, so that'll benefit you. Anyways, over here, and I say this in response to the next fuckery that we saw yesterday, where basically BitMexico is down for about 30 minutes to an hour or such, and it wasn't showing people's balances. You couldn't get connected, then you couldn't put in trades, and then blah. So it was quite the scene yesterday, unfortunately. Anyways, this does call into question the breakout that we do see, or the potential breakout that we do see over here on Finex. Again, take into account that, hey, that talk that we had about volume. This is very lackluster. This is not convincing to me. This is more of a question mark than anything. And if we were to put on a nice declining trend line right here, you could actually see. It's by no mistake that you can actually fit a trend line on the volume spikes over here. To me, this is probably just consolidation. I don't think that Finex is the right one to be going off of right here. I think that the majority of exchanges are the right ones to be doing it, and they say that we have not seen a breakout just yet. Doesn't mean that it can't happen. Again, 100% does not mean that it cannot happen. But for the rest of this video, I'm going to go over here to GDAX because, well, I can do a fresh chart pretty easy without fucking around with any of my bigger charts. So that'll be nice. Anyways, again, as always, want to do the big areas right here, 6150. We'll call it right around there. Let's get our descending trend line going on right here, and we'll just kind of go through it together Jesus Christ, man, stop it, TradingView, you little bastard. Sometimes TradingView just really gets on your nerves now, doesn't it? So we'll do something like that. So the resistance should viva la resistance should be coming in somewhere around 6650 area, 6650. Yeah, again, volume on all the exchanges is not indicative of a breakout just yet either. It doesn't mean that it can't happen. We do have support right around here, which would be about 6535 on GDAX, and then we got this 6620-ish resistance right here on GDAX. So there is a tether premium right now. That's why there's a big difference in price. As you can see, Finex is trading about 66.72 at this point in time, and all the exchanges are about 66.06. quite literally over $60 of premium for your good old Tether. Tether that's really hot right now. People just really want it. Is what's likely happening. No, of course not. It's there's some fuck going on, but no, it's Tether is an ever moving thing, right? You always have to keep in mind that we actually can chart Tether, and it actually is in a different scenario than it typically is. It typically trades within like 4 digits of $1 right now. It's kind of actually almost 1 cent, 1 full cent away. Something that you very rarely see. All right. Okay. So back now over here, back on our GDAX. Let's just chart this out. So yes, if 65.30 support breaks, which would be 65.50 on Finex, and 64.20 is the next big area that I look forward. Below there, you got this guy right around here. It looks like, yep. Or do we want it? Yeah, no, that would be about right. And we can make a nice formation off this too, still in a broadening wedge-ish type formation. Now I do want to speak directly to what could be going on right here. Whenever you do get a lull right at resistance, typically that is a good sign. Typically it is a good sign when you're consolidating at resistance, compared to consolidating at support. That certainly is, in my opinion, a more bullish thing. So if this were to break out to the upside, there is something to be aware of over here, because all of the higher time frames are still, for the most part, bearish. And I'm referring to the 2-day death cross right here. I'm referring to the weekly 21 exponential cross on the downside of the green 55, confirmed as of Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A lot of the times you will see these crosses like pull price action within them, or into them is what I mean to say. And when it comes down to it, Bitcoin could very easily have a nice breakout out of this smaller descending triangle right here, as this does look, I see more positives than negatives here. You got your 8-hour stochastics crossing up, you got your daily stochastics getting to the neutral zone, then saying, hey, nope, we want to go back up. What about the 2-hour? 2-hour heading down? So the lower time frames are a little bit less happy, but the higher time frames are saying, hey, you got some room here. But again, when we're talking about those higher time frame crosses on the exponentials and simple moving averages, that's what does make me very concerned from a more like medium term perspective, I guess you could say. Because I don't want to be fighting the overall trend. So what could likely happen? Well, one of the classic plays when you do get to a scenario like this is you actually will break out of this lower descending triangle right here and probably actually take a stab at that next big resistance. 67.50 is kind of this guy right here. Perhaps even all the way to formally test the 21 exponential on the weekly total time frame, or the green 55 on the 2-day, which, by the way, that is what Bitcoin did do in 2014 after it got it. It did actually come back and retest it. Let's just kind of go back over here. Here's your 2-day, by the way. There's your 2-day dildo death cross. And you come over and retest it. Now, of course, it doesn't have to happen like that. Historical analysis is not like a one-to-one thing. I really don't want to make it seem as such. But you also have the week. This is the weekly over here, the weekly 21 and the green 55. Coming up to kind of test it, give it a little bit of a test in a way. Yes, I do kind of consider this a test when you do kind of wake up within the vicinity of it. That's close enough. Close enough is close enough. And that could be what happens. Very well could be. So again, there's a saying in the market that, even if you're early, you're wrong. And that is so fucking true in an asset like this, where you can very well have the right direction on your hand. You could have a great directional trade on your hand, but if you're early, you're going to have to, you might have to sit through some fuckage, right? Now, again, at the end of the day, it could very well be that Bitcoin actually does reverse on from here, and this is the lowest that Bitcoin ever does go. Now, of course, I do have my reservations on, based upon that, especially with regards to the higher time frames, exponentials, also the monthly, also pretty much everything above like a daily, and just the way that all of our indicators are kind of aligning right now. But again, that could happen. What would make me more of a believer in that? Well, I'd not just want to see this smaller descending triangle broken. I'd want to see the weekly 21 exponential be taken out. 21 and 55 really, to be more accurate, which would require price back above 7,100. And then I would also want to see a higher high above this guy right here, 7,400. And then I'd also want to see just you know, a takeout of this greater descending triangle that we're still living under. We're still well under it. So that would make me interested if I could see all those things, but I still wouldn't be a full-on believer until we actually take out 10,000 right over here. Above 8,000, I'd become pretty damn interested as well. But I would be taking long positions on the way. Don't get me wrong. You know, above 7,400, kind of have to, or at least I would have to. But again, I always want to be very adamant with these things. This is the area where a lot of people can get trapped pretty damn bad. Speaking of trappings, we do have a significant amount of longs. Once again, 29,000 open longs, gaining about 3,000, sorry, more than 3,000 in just yesterday alone. All with an average price around at or above 6,600. So again, price action can very easily FAQ them. Also gaining a lot of shorts as well. Gaining about 1,500 shorts, a little over 1,500 shorts in yesterday's trading action as well. So shorts can be squeezed for sure. They are above the critical range, no doubt about that. I believe, according to Datamish, from what I checked earlier, they the longs are still paying about 3 times the amount of interest rate that the shorts are. Not that it's too high right now either way, but always worth kind of mentioning. So back now over here to good old GDEX. Good old GDEX. I fucking hate this one. Oh, it's the only worst thing is I could be charted on Binance. My God. Sorry. I don't mean to offend any Binance people out there. Funds are suffer. Funds suffer. Goddamn. Anyways, lower time frames over here. As I said, the lower time frame oscillators are actually pointing down. Here's your 2-hour stochastics, hourly stochastics, same sort of thing, although getting kind of into the critical region. 3-hour did cross to the downside as well, and that is one of those things that just tends to work out. It did cross when price action was right around here, right around 66.40. So again, another thing to be aware of, because this is one of those things that does play out more often than not, although it's not a perfect one. I want to see it more in the critical zone for a more perfect or just a more higher degree trade. Perhaps a scalp already played out, you know, $40 to the downside. Sometimes you just get that. But overall, you know, again, the lower time frames do look like they want to cool off a little bit over here, whereas the semi-high time frames, like the 4 to 8 hour, look like they do want to take a leg. Here's a 12 hour over here. 12 hour still. 12 hours still looks okay. 12 hours still looks okay. But, you know, according to our RSI in our more like higher degree trend indicators, you know, this is daily RSI and 12 hour side. They pretty much look the same. Here's the 2-day RSI. This is all neutral to me, consolidating between consolidating really mostly in the neutral zone. Although, yes, you know, I think some people would call that bearish. I would say, I think that's a little bit too, you know, I am bearish too, man. I do think that this thing probably does break to the downside over time. Whether it takes another leg up from here or not is, you know, is more of a question that we're probably going to figure out in the next, I'd say during this week, most likely. But you know, it's, you know, not everything. It's not just like a one-sided deal right now. I do very much see that you could very easily take a step up above here. Here's the 2-day, by the way. The 2-day, it's rhymes, so you know it's true. The 2-day is very interesting to me because we will be getting a new one at tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Do we end above or below this yellow 21 exponential? And I'm just going to take all my drawing tools off so we can look at it together. And there you go. And all exchanges pretty much look the same except for Finex, because Finex is just way fucking out there. So again, I have to kind of, I'm almost going to neglect Finex for the time being until it starts to behave once again. Stamp over here, same sort of thing. It's right there. Does it close above or below? That's going to be a big deal to me as well. If it closes below, that would be, I would interpret that as more bearish than not. And same thing with GDEX as we just saw, and in BitMexico is the same thing as well. 3-day over here. 3-day is still using the 21 as resistance as well. So again, the 3-day is, you know, while you are having a decent, you know, what appears like a lower time, like a good decent move in the lower time frames, which I know a lot of people love to look at because they're more exciting, especially when you're stuck in a range that's $50 fucking long for, you know, weeks on end, or it seems weeks on end. I do have to remind myself, well, hey, you know, look at this action over here, very low volume as you do kind of crawl along this area right here. So to me, that's very indicative that, hey, the breakout has not actually happened. If it is going to happen, I want to see more volume on this to actually take it out, especially, again, major point, especially as you approach a level that everyone's got their eyes on. If we're going to take out this area right here, I want to see a slap in the face, fuck you, dildo, buy me now. And I will buy it. But for right here, right now, still a question mark, a very lackluster move so far, only shown on Finex. So again, that's going to do it for today. Not too much else to say around that. I think it's still just kind of a scalper's paradise until you break out of this way one way or the other. And you technically would like to see it happen relatively soon, meaning in the next couple days. If you do hang around here for too long, then it's like, all right, you motherfucker, like, what are you waiting for? But no, the market will interpret that as indecision and probably have a little bit. And the market doesn't like indecision. The market likes aggressive, not aggressiveness, but the market likes, very confluent, in your face, hey, this is what's happening. We have certainty. Yes, that's a word that I'm looking for, certainty. If you just talk around in circles long enough, it'll come to you. Anyways, that's going to do it for this morning. I hope this one finds you well. I'll be back on at the later time, as usual, to do a live stream, and I look forward to seeing you there. Take care.